Good morning. Welcome to Tribune News on Q, your go-to morning news source, only here at the Daily Tribune. We're live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and a Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For today's headlines. The arrest of a retired Philippine Air Force general accused of urging the military to abandon President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has raised renewed concerns over the possible persecution of dissenters. Budget watchdogs and critics say they will press ahead with their challenge to the 2026 national budget, despite a 94.5 billion peso veto on unprogrammed funds included in the signed law. A survey shows 82% of Filipinos trust the United States to help defend the Philippines' sovereignty, released after the U.S. operation in Venezuela and the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. Ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro pleaded not guilty Monday to the U.S. charges of narco-terrorism. Families of missing Sabongeros have urged the Department of Justice to include actress Gretchen Barreto and other individuals in the kidnapping case against businessman Charlie Atong Ang. The DA expects expanded support for farmers and fisherfolk following the signing of the 6.793 trillion peso national budget for 2026. Filipino pop phenomenon SB19 is set to stage their highly anticipated Wakas at Simula concert at the SMDC Festival grounds on 18th of April. PVL teams are gearing up for an intense title race as clubs bolster their rosters, with initial lineups and uniform designs set to be submitted this week. Today is the 6th of January, and I'm Eliana Lacap, bringing you today's top stories. Let's kick things off with today's weather. Pag-asa reports that the shear line, the northeast monsoon, and the easterlies will bring cloudy skies and rains over parts of the Philippines today. The shear line affects eastern, southern Luzon, including Bicol, Quezon, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and northern Samar, with scattered thunderstorms and possible flash floods or landslides. Meanwhile, the easterlies impact Zamboanga Peninsula, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Palawan, the rest of Visayas, and parts of Mindanao, with isolated storms and potential floods or landslides. The northeast monsoon continues over Luzon, including Metro Manila, with light rains and no significant impact. Moderate to strong winds are expected in coastal areas. Residents are advised to stay alert and follow local advisories. Now for our traffic update. Light traffic is reported at Balintawak Toll Plaza, Mindanao Toll Plaza, Bocaue Toll Plaza, and San Fernando northbound and southbound lanes. All other areas of NLEX, SOTEX, and NLEX connector, including toll plazas and interchanges, are also experiencing light traffic conditions. Motorists are advised to stay alert and follow traffic advisories for a safe and smooth trip. And for our breaking news, the country's inflation rate, or the pace of increase in the prices of goods and services, rose to 1.8% in December of 2025, up from 1.5% in November. This means Filipinos paid more for basic commodities and services during the holiday season, reflecting faster price pressures at the end of the year. Authorities say they continue to monitor inflation trends closely, as these directly affect household spending and overall economic stability. Now let's move on to this morning's headlines. Former Philippine Air Force General Romeo Puquiz was arrested Monday at NAIA Terminal 3 upon returning from Thailand over alleged rebellion and sedition, after calling on the military and police to withdraw support from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The Philippine National Police linked the case to Puquiz's statements during anti-corruption rallies in November at the People Power Monument. The arrest has sparked renewed concerns over the treatment of government critics. Bail for the sedition charge was set at 48,000 pesos as Pukiz was taken to Camp Crame for processing. His lawyer condemned the arrest as a violation of his rights. Budget watchdogs and opposition lawmakers are set to challenge the 2026 General Appropriations Act before the Supreme Court, despite President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s partial veto of 94.5 billion pesos in unprogrammed appropriations. Critics argue that more than 150 billion pesos in standby funds remain unconstitutional, citing risks of misuse and the absence of clear revenue sources. They insist all priority projects should be fully programmed, warning that retaining unprogrammed funds could enable pork barrel insertions, delay infrastructure projects, and weaken Congress's power of the purse. A Pulse Asia survey shows 82% of Filipinos trust the United States to defend the Philippines, followed by Japan, Canada, and Australia. The survey conducted for strat-based group reflects public concern over China's West Philippine Sea actions. Meanwhile, the House Minority Bloc condemned the U.S. invasion of Venezuela as quote state-sponsored terrorism and urged President Marcos to issue the statement. The Philippine National Police has placed the unit on alert, monitoring the U.S. Embassy and key areas for potential protests. Now ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores pleaded not guilty Monday to U.S. narco-terrorism charges 2 days after the dramatic U.S. raid in Caracas. Maduro called the operation quote kidnapping and insisted he remains Venezuela's president. The U.S. plans to temporarily manage Venezuela and its oil industry, sparking global criticism, while supporters rallied in Caracas. The raid involved commandos, warplanes, and naval forces, though no U.S. troops are on the ground. Interim President Delcy Rodriguez expressed readiness to cooperate with U.S. authorities. Families of missing Sabongeros are asking the DOJ to add actress Gretchen Barreto, retired NCR Police Chief Janelle Estomo, Ang's relatives, and others to the kidnapping case against businessman Charlie Atong Ang. They allege a conspiracy linked to the Manila Arena disappearance of Jean Claude Inong, insisting all members of the so-called Alpha Group be held accountable. Authorities previously found evidence against Ang and 21 others, but no charges have been filed against Barreto due to insufficient proof. The Department of Agriculture expects expanded support for farmers and fisherfolk under the 6.793 trillion peso 2026 national budget. Key allocations include 33 billion pesos for farm-to-market roads, 30 billion pesos for rice competitiveness enhancement fund, 20 billion pesos for the Animal Industry Competitiveness Act, and other agricultural programs. Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel said the actual impact will depend on the final details of the General Appropriations Act, stressing that close monitoring, effective implementation, and accountability are essential to ensure these funds benefit producers and help stabilize the country's food supply. Now, Filipino pop phenomenon SB19 will hold their highly anticipated Wakas at Simula concert at SMDC Festival Grounds on the 18th of April, marking a major Manila stop in their ongoing triumphant tour. The show follows the success of Simula at Wakas performances in key local and international venues, where fans packed arenas and open grounds. Lauded for its large-scale production, emotional storytelling, and SB19's powerful live performances, the concert series further cements the group's reputation as one of the Philippines' biggest global musical acts. Now, PVL clubs are busy strengthening rosters ahead of 2026 All-Filipino Conference, with initial lineups and uniform designs due by 10th of January. Teams can still sign free agents if slots remain, but submitted names cannot be changed. The tournament could feature 10 or 11 teams, depending on Petrogaz's decision on a potential joint venture when NX led. Key moves include Choco Mucho signing Aya Laure and Caitlin Viray, Creamline releasing veterans in strong group athletics, acquiring Chi Saet and Remy Palma, with more roster updates expected before the 31st January opening. Now a quick look at today's horoscope. Today calls for letting go and taking a breather, Capricorn. You may feel pulled between too many options or caught in a mental tug of war. Instead of grinding away, give yourself permission to rest in your nest. Lay down your swords, take a short nap, and allow clarity to come naturally. You may realize there's no battle to fight, or that it wasn't yours to fight in the first place. Slowing down now restores your energy and perspective, helping you return stronger, calmer, and ready to embrace what truly matters. Now, Katribu, did you know that Melchor Aquino, born today, January 6, 1812, in Banlat, Caloocan, played a pivotal role in the 1896 Philippine Revolution? Known as Tandang Sora, she was the mother of the Philippine Revolution, providing refugee, food, and moral support to the Katipuneros. At 84, her home and store became a secret headquarters for revolutionary meetings. Arrested by the Spanish on August 29 of 1896, she refused to betray leaders like Andres Bonifacio and was exiled to Guam until 1903. She returned to live humbly until her death on February 19, 1919. Today, she is honored through shrines, currency, roads, a museum, and the BRP Melchor Aquino vessel. Now, this morning's viral uploaded by Ron Laude has users laughing at a scene he staged in the market. The clip shows a delivery truck driving through the market with a crowd of people walking behind it, making it look like a burial procession. He even added the typical music used for burials, adding to the comedic effect. And that's all for now, mga katribu. Join us again at 1 o'clock p.m. for more updates. This has been Eliana Lacap for Tribune News on Q. Happy Three Kings, katribu!